The most dangerous kind of poverty is the kind that looks like wealth. Because today, looking rich is easier than ever. You can lease the car, finance the watch, rent the apartment, borrow the lifestyle, post the proof. And for a few seconds, people will believe you made it. But behind the photos, behind the luxury labels, behind the smiling videos and polished captions, a lot of people are living one emergency away from disaster. That is the new illusion. Not real wealth, just expensive pretending. And once you learn how to spot it, you start seeing it everywhere. The person with the luxury car and the empty bank account. The friend who talks about money nonstop, but never seems to have any. The influencer flexing a lifestyle that disappears the moment the ring light turns off. This is fake rich culture. And today, we are breaking it down. Because the difference between real wealth and fake wealth is not what you wear, drive, or post. It is what happens when the image disappears. So let's get into the 10 signs someone is pretending to be rich. Sign 1. They buy the badge, not the value. Fake rich people love the logo more than the product. They do not always buy the best version of something. They buy the most recognizable version. The cheapest luxury car, the loudest designer bag, the watch that makes other people notice them. Not because they need quality, because they need status. And that is the trap. They are not buying freedom. They are buying attention. Real wealth asks, what makes sense? Fake wealth asks, what will people think? That is why someone can be driving a premium brand vehicle, but struggling with maintenance, insurance, fuel, and monthly payments. On paper, it looks impressive. In real life, it is financial pressure with a nice emblem on top. Sign 2. They talk about money constantly. Some people cannot have a normal conversation without turning it into a financial performance. Everything becomes a story about how much they make, how much they spent, what they invested in, or how expensive their life is. They do not speak about money like it is a tool. They speak about it like it is their personality. And usually, the louder someone talks about money, the less stable they feel about it. Because truly secure people do not need to prove they are doing well. They do not keep interrupting every conversation to mention their income, their deals, their portfolio, or the big thing they are about to launch. Notice something very carefully. Fake rich people always live in the future. I'm about to make a lot of money. Next month, everything changes. My next move is huge. They are always one step away from success. But the present never matches the promise. Sign 3. They wear things that cost more than their savings. This one is everywhere. A designer bag with almost nothing in the bank. A luxury watch on a maxed out credit card. A branded outfit bought before basic financial security was ever built. That is not wealth. That is costume design. A single purchase should not be able to destroy your budget. If one item creates stress for weeks or months, it is not a smart purchase. It is a liability with good branding. A lot of people do not buy expensive things because they can afford them. They buy them because they want to feel ahead of their life. But the feeling is temporary. The bill is not. The excitement lasts a day. The debt can last for years. That is the price of trying to look rich before becoming financially strong. Sign 4. They always need to one-up everyone. Fake rich people hate being outshined. If you bought a car, they bought a better one. If you went on a trip, theirs was more exclusive. If you got promoted, they got promoted faster. Nothing you do is allowed to stand on its own. They have to step on it, raise it, outdo it, or reframe it so they look bigger. That is not confidence. That is insecurity wearing expensive clothes. A secure person can celebrate someone else's win without feeling threatened. A fake rich person sees every conversation as a competition for status. And the sad part is, they are not even enjoying their own life. They are too busy comparing. Sign 5. Their social media is their financial identity. You can learn a lot about fake wealth by looking at what people choose to post. The luxury dinner, the hotel suite, the shopping bags, the car keys on the table, the just-landed airport shot, the mirror selfie with a designer label perfectly visible in frame. It is not content, it is branding. Because for fake rich people, wealth is not something they live, it is something they perform. And social media makes that performance easier than ever. A person can look incredibly successful online while being completely unstable offline. Their feed is polished. Their life is not. Their camera roll is full of flexes. Their finances are full of stress. And because attention rewards appearance, people keep performing the version of life that gets the most likes, not the version that builds peace, the version that builds image. Sign 6. They lease everything. Leasing is not always bad, but for the fake rich, it becomes a lifestyle. They want the newest car, the freshest look, the monthly payment they can just barely handle. It is not about owning. It is about appearing. That is the whole game. The car goes back at the end. The money does not. And then they repeat the cycle again and again, always paying to seem successful, never building actual ownership. That is the problem with so many status-based purchases. They create the illusion of progress without the reality of it. You are making payments, but not building assets. You are upgrading appearances, but not upgrading your net worth. That is why some people can look wealthy for years and still have nothing to show for it. Sign 7. They buy fake versions of status. This one is especially revealing. If someone is carrying counterfeit items, they are not just copying a brand. They are copying an identity. And that tells you everything. Because the goal was never quality. The goal was never craftsmanship. The goal was to look expensive. But fake items are the perfect symbol of fake wealth. They are imitation on top of imitation. And the strangest part is, people will spend real money to carry fake status. They could have bought something original, durable, and actually worth owning. But that would not give them the social signal they wanted. The logo matters more than the quality. That is not taste. That is insecurity with a receipt. Sign 8. They chase every get-rich-quick idea. Fake rich people love fast money fantasies. New coin, new side hustle, new course, new trading strategy, new business model, new shortcut. They are always chasing the next thing that is supposed to change everything. And the reason is simple. Building wealth slowly is boring. It takes discipline. It takes patience. It takes repetition. That is not exciting enough for someone addicted to the idea of looking successful now. So they jump from one opportunity to the next, always speaking as if the next thing will finally be the one. But real wealth is usually built in the opposite way. Quietly, consistently, without an audience. If someone is always selling the dream of the next big move, they probably have not built much from the last one. They criticize everyone else's financial choices. Fake rich people love giving financial advice they do not really live by. They will tell you to buy a bigger car, move into a fancier place, spend more on clothes, upgrade your lifestyle. Not because it is good advice, because it justifies theirs. If your choices look wiser than theirs, it threatens their image. So they make your practical decisions sound boring, cheap, or unsuccessful. But real financial intelligence is not about impressing people. It is about making decisions that fit your life. One person may value travel. Another may value savings. One person may want a home. Another may want flexibility. There is no one-size-fits-all formula. The fake rich do not understand that. They need everyone to approve their choices so they can feel better about their own. Sign 10. Everything about them is too loud. Too many logos, too much jewelry, too much flash, too much effort. It feels like every item is trying to announce something. That is usually the giveaway. Real wealth does not need to shout. It does not need to announce itself through every detail of appearance. It does not need every outfit to look expensive. It does not need every photo to prove something. In fact, some of the richest people in the world look incredibly ordinary. And that is exactly why fake rich people overcompensate. Because when identity is weak, the image gets louder. When substance is missing, style becomes exaggerated. And when confidence is not internal, it has to be displayed. Here is the truth. Fake wealth is exhausting. It costs money to maintain. It costs energy to sustain. It costs peace to protect. You have to keep spending just to keep up the image. You have to keep performing just to avoid being exposed. You have to keep chasing attention just to feel successful for a moment. But real wealth is different. Real wealth is quiet. It is stable. It is built, not posted. It gives you options. It gives you breathing room. It gives you freedom. And that is the real flex. Not the car people notice, not the bag people recognize, not the lifestyle people envy. The real flex is being financially unbothered when nobody is watching. So the next time you see someone looking rich, ask a better question. Not, what do they own? Ask, what have they built? Because looking wealthy and being wealthy are two completely different things. And one of them can disappear the moment the lights go off.